Level 1, the unusual quiet. It starts with stillness, not peace, not rest, a strange, heavy quiet that settles over your life like fog. Your phone stops ringing as much. Certain people drift away without explanation. Plans fall apart. Doors close. You apply. You wait. Nothing. You reach out. No response. You start to wonder if God forgot your name. He didn't. This quiet, it's not punishment. It's preparation. Every great thing God builds in a person's life begins with a season of isolation. David was pulled from the field before he was placed on the throne. Joseph was thrown in a pit before he was positioned in a palace. The quiet is where God does his deepest work. While you're sitting in the silence, wondering what went wrong, he's removing distractions. He's clearing the path. He's setting the stage. Pay attention to the quiet. It means something massive is coming. Level 2, this sudden disruption. Then something breaks. Not something bad, something unexpected. A conversation you didn't plan for. A phone call at the wrong time that turns out to be exactly the right time. A door closes so violently it shocks you. But behind another door, one you never noticed before. This is level 2. God doesn't just open doors quietly. Sometimes he slams the old ones shut so you stop looking backward. That job you lost? It was blocking the company that actually needed you. That relationship that ended? It was occupying space meant for someone who was actually sent for you. That city you had to leave? It wasn't your destination. It was just a corridor. You feel the disruption like a punch. It stings. Your chest gets tight. Your mind races. But somewhere underneath the confusion, there's a pull. A direction. A knowing. You can't explain it, but you feel it. Follow that. Level 3, the inner shift. Something changes inside you. You wake up one morning and you're different. Not visibly, not dramatically, but the things that used to consume you don't anymore. The anger that lived in your chest starts to loosen. The fear that shadowed every decision begins to lift. You stop obsessing over what people think. You stop rehearsing conversations in your head at 2 a.m. You stop chasing the version of your life that was never meant for you. This is the internal renovation. Before God hands you the assignment, he restructures the person who's going to carry it. Your character has to hold the weight of what's coming, because some blessings have already destroyed people who weren't ready for them. Money without discipline becomes debt. Influence without humility becomes arrogance. Love without healing becomes control. God is not slow. He is precise. He's building you from the inside because the outside is almost ready. If you feel yourself outgrowing rooms you used to love, that's not pride. That's preparation. Level 4, the strange alignment. Now the coincidences start stacking up. You mention something in passing, and 3 days later it appears. You think about a person, they call you out of nowhere. You pray about a specific need, and the exact provision shows up from a direction you never anticipated. This isn't luck. This is alignment. When God is about to release something significant into your life, the universe begins to reorganize around his intention for you. People you haven't spoken to in years suddenly re-enter your orbit, and this time they carry something, a connection, an opportunity, a word that lands deep in your spirit. You start seeing numbers, patterns, moments of déjà vu that feel too specific to dismiss. You read a scripture you've read 100 times, and suddenly it hits different because you're living it now. You're inside the story. The dots are connecting. Don't dismiss what's aligning. Write it down because God is building a sequence and you are at the center of it. Level 5, the test before the testimony. Here's what most people don't warn you about. Right before the breakthrough, there is a test. A final, brutal, almost unfair test of your destiny is not passive. He studied your timeline. He knows what's on the other side of your obedience. And he will throw everything at you in this season. A crisis, a betrayal, a health scare, a financial emergency, a temptation packaged in something that looks like relief. This is level 5, and most people quit here. They see the storm and assume God has abandoned them. They interpret the warfare as a sign they were wrong. They turn back 5 steps before the door opens. But listen carefully. The intensity of the attack is directly proportional to the magnitude of what God is about to release. They don't fight small things hard. When hell goes quiet, relax. When hell goes loud, lean in. The harder the resistance, the closer the reward. Your job right now is simple but grueling. Hold on. Don't make permanent decisions out of temporary pain. Don't walk away from the calling because the corridor got dark. You're being tested, not abandoned. There is a difference. Level 6, the release. And then it breaks. Not slowly, not quietly. It breaks like dawn after the longest night of your life. Something moves. An email lands. A check comes through. A diagnosis changes. A conversation shifts the trajectory of your entire future in under 10 minutes. You feel it the moment it happens. Your spirit recognizes it before your mind catches up. This is the release. This is God honoring every prayer you whispered in the dark. Every morning you got up when you didn't want to. Every time you chose faith over fear. Every door you didn't force open because you trusted His timing. This is the payoff. And it's bigger than you planned. Not just money. Not just status. Peace. Real peace. A sense of rightness that settles into your bones. The feeling that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Doing exactly what you're made for. With exactly the people who were sent for you. This is what was being built in the silence. This is what the disruption was clearing space for. Why the test couldn't be skipped. You needed to become someone who could stand here and not collapse under the weight of the blessing. Level 7, the responsibility of the overflow. But now understand this. What God gives you in this season is not just for you. It never was. The overflow has an assignment. The business you build will employ people who need a chance. The platform you grow will reach someone who is standing on an edge tonight. The healing you walk into will become the testimony that saves someone else's faith. The money that finally moves in your favor carries the responsibility of generosity. This is level 7, the place where most people get it wrong. They receive the blessing and forget the source. They arrive and forget who they were when they were still waiting. Don't do that. Stay humble in the overflow the way you were faithful in the drought. Because what God releases to a grateful, generous heart, He multiplies. What He releases to pride, He eventually removes. You come too far. You've held on through too much. Don't lose the harvest trying to hoard it. Let it flow through you and watch it